Back again, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the structure tab. So first things first, I'm going to just skip all these event items because they're all useful in their own ways, but they're way too complex for me to get into here, and they're not even active in the game right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. A lot of items in this tab are very useful, and a lot of items in this tab are very not useful, so I'll make sure to point them out to you guys. So first off, we got a chest. Awesome. Chest, very useful. You can store 9 items in it. It's the most compact way to store items, and it's also the quickest way to put items into your inventory with shift clicking. You can put more items in your inventory or out of your inventory faster this way, so it's great for that. Awesome item. Definitely something that we need in the game. Sign, not very useful in any circumstances. You kind of just use this for some memes as your game gets into later game. Very cosmetic type thing. Directional sign. So you use this guy to direct other players towards your base if you're playing on a pub. It can be useful for that. I mean, playing on a pub is already kind of yikes though, so there's that. Mini sign. So this lets you draw a little picture on it, and then you can just place it next to like a chest or something, so you can already know what's sorted into that chest. Very useful in very, very late game. If you're building like a mega base or something, you definitely want. Wood gate. So this is a gate. You use this to get in and out of walls, which is useful in a couple of circumstances when you're building a couple mob farms and a couple of other farms. So, yep, very useful item. You're gonna want to use this with like grass gecko farms. What else? Berry bush farm. You'd want to use this because you want to put like a berry in the middle for the gobbler, unless you already put like a powder cake in there. Yeah, I mean, it has some pretty good use cases. Wood fence, so this is the cheapest walls, which is useful in a lot of circumstances with farming certain mobs. Hay walls, so this is a slightly more expensive version of walls than the wood fences. Wouldn't build it ever, so I would not recommend you build these. So mostly what players would use these for would be very, very late game content where they need the walls to burn so that it can kill enemies. Wood wall, so I mean, just another wall here, has slightly more durable than those last 2 walls we talked about, costs quite a bit more. Not usable under any circumstance, not even for like really late game applications and like niche circumstances. There's nothing for them here. They have no use case. I mean, they're pretty much decorative. Also, while I'm going through these, all walls are pretty much useless for defending from mobs. Please don't use them for that. The best thing to defend you from mobs is a helmet and a hand bat. That'll protect you from everything. Stone wall, so these are a slightly stronger wall, and they're also not flammable, which is important because you then use them for the dragonfly fight where the walls would just burn down if you used fences. Moonrock wall, very expensive walls, they're slightly more durable. Wouldn't build them ever. Wardrobe, so you can use this to change the skins you're wearing. I mean, if you want to change your skins, go for it. It can also be used to kite certain mobs that have really slow attack times, so I've seen people use it against dragonfly, shadow pieces. I wouldn't use it for either of those though because you're getting less hits in, so wouldn't recommend it for that. Basically, just use it to change your skin if you want to. Pig house, so this lets you build a house with a pig in it and it'll respawn every couple days. Definitely something you're going to build in later games so you can farm up some pig skin, because eventually there aren't any more pig houses to hammer down. Rabbit hutch, so this is just like the pig house, so you can use these to get a rabbit that respawns every couple days, and these can also be very useful for building spider farms, so definitely want to keep that in mind as they are great for automatic spider farms because they do not eat monster meat, and so you can just go through during the day when they're not out, pick up that monster meat and bail on out of there and get everything, unlike most of the normal farms where most of the monster meat is just going to disappear. I should also say they're very, very useful against bosses and raid bosses. They do a lot of DPS. Birdcage, very, very useful item. So this lets you put a bird in a cage, and then that bird, you can feed certain things to get eggs, which are great for crockpot recipes. So I can feed it a cooked monster meat to get an egg, which is the normal thing I will be feeding it. There are a couple other things you can feed it, mostly meat, that will work for that, and then you can also feed it certain vegetables to get a specific seed type out of it. Wouldn't recommend doing that. Very, very useful item. You're definitely going to want to make one of these. Great item. Scarecrows. So you use these to get canaries. Don't. Please don't. It's just a pretty yellow bird, man. Don't. Tackle receptacle. So once again, all the ocean content is bad. There's no point to using the ocean content. Currently, it is all not useful. There is more efficient things for everything it does on land. Please do not use this. Fish scale-o-matic. So first off, this is purely cosmetic, and second off, this is ocean content again. Please don't. Cobblestone. So this is a great turf. You use this to be able to run faster. So if you put this down on the ground, you're going to get the same effect as a road, and you can put it anywhere. They are very expensive though, so just keep that in mind. You're going to use these in very, very late game when you're building a mega base. Wooden flooring. So you might build these if you're going to put some lure plants down and you need to control exactly where they're going to have their eye plants pop up. I would generally recommend that you use cobblestones for that then, and just dig up some rocky turf and just go all the way then. Get yourself some very useful turf rather than building some wooden flooring. Wooden flooring, not a fan. Checkered flooring, so you'll find a lot of this for free around the world that you can just dig out of the ground. A lot of newer players I see, they'll build a base, and then by day 10 they're like, oh, I'm bored, and they'll go and dig up some checkered flooring and some carpeted flooring and put it in their base. I'm like, I love my base, it's so pretty. And then by the time winter comes, they die a horrible death. But I mean, noobs will be noobs. That's the way the world works. Its only use case is for controlling lure plants. Carpeted flooring. Also, its only use case is for controlling lure plants. Scaled flooring. So this one's weird. I saw a couple of farm designs with this, but I can't even remember them now. They weren't particularly important, but I'm sure you could do some good things with this. But scaled flooring. So first things first, when you use it, anything that is placed on top of it is going to have fire go slower past it. So it's going to have things ignite slower that are on it. So I'm sure a couple of you can already think of some use cases for that. And then also, okay, so this is going to get patched immediately after I say this, because every time I say something like this, it gets patched to the game. But you can see it takes scales here, and it'll give you a couple of them right here. So let's do that. And then let me go grab a staff. So let me show you here. Yeah, that's broken, okay? Because scales, you get 6 of them for 1 of them. Scales are from a raid boss, by the way. They're from the Dragonfly. She has 27,500 HP. Not particularly easy to get. So yes, that should not be in the game. That'll probably get removed, but for now it's in the game. So there's been a lot of bugs like that. They've existed for a long time. There's still like 5 of them that exist and that haven't been patched out yet, but every time I make a video on it, they get patched. So now we have Shell Beach Turf. So, I mean, this is more ocean content. Just don't. Please don't. Decorative. Potted fern. Lovely, lovely here. We got potted fern. This is purely decorative, so if you want to, spice up your base and you're going really late game with your mega base, I mean, go for it with your potted ferns. You're just going to be making your base look pretty. It does not serve any purpose, though. It literally does nothing. Potted succulent. I mean, same as potted fern here. I mean, different kind of vibe it's given off, but you just want to build one of these so that your base looks pretty. End table. So end table can have some use cases. So you can put a light bulb in it, and it is going to light up the area for quite a while. So you can just build one of these like down in your ruin space, then you throw a light bulb in it, and that's going to be your light source down there. So pretty useful for that. And then you can also use that on the surface if you have some light bulbs, like that. So it also works as a wall that can't get damaged. Now, I will not say it is an impenetrable wall, because rooks can still break them, and a couple other enemies can still break them, and they'll like glitch through them. So it can be useful in certain use cases for that too. So we got some replica relics. These are also they're decorational. So if you want to decorate your base, you might want to use one of those. Scaled chest. So I've had people telling me in my comments before that this item is useful, but it's really not. So this is a big chest. It has 3 by 4 slots. So it actually has 12 slots, whereas a normal chest has 9 slots. Except it's very expensive. It also is fireproof. The issue is it's a big chest, so it takes up more space than a normal chest would. Even if you know the trick to farming the scales that I've shown in a video before, you're not going to want to use one of these. I wouldn't build them. It takes a lot of gold there too. 10, even if you're like Den Your Ruins thing, you're not going to be able to use these for all your chests in the game, so what's the point? Scaled furnace. So build yourself a fly flue, it says there. Now what that means is this is a permanent fire for you, basically, for warming yourself up and cooking on. It also does provide a very small radius of light, but the small radius of light is really, really small, so it's not very useful for that. So you'll want to build one of these to keep yourself warmed up in winter when you go by your base. It's great for cooking on when you just want to cook 1 or 2 things before you throw them in the crock pot. Just a generally great item to have just around the base. Now, you do need to kill Dragonfly to get this. Not just because of the scales, because there is another way to get scales through stunning her and then just stealing the scale with that method I was talking about earlier. But you also need to kill her for the blueprint. So, not a very easy item to get, but it is a pretty strong item. And that covers the structures tab, guys. If you liked the video today, make sure to leave a like, and I will send you a real-life dragonfly. That's a dragon and a fly all rolled into one. It will murder you. And make sure to subscribe for more, guys. Bye-bye.